perspective from a scientific standpoint, I think is problematic in using religious language, because it seems to me if right now, as you mentioned, there are differences between religions and the scientific approach. If we use religious language as an appeal to the theist, then I think the response is going to be, see, you are using our language, and we're being scientific. Now, if we, from a perspective of a non-theist, when you use religious language in trying to promote science, this is going to be very confusing to the people that are rejecting theism. So I think it's
worrisome.
Pardon?
Worrisome.
Yes, I think it's not advantageous to use religious language at all in trying to promote a scientific point. I think, say, for the word sacred, I think other words could be used. I think for God, I think you've illustrated some of the alternative uses instead of God. And I think it would be better, from my point of view, that refraining from using religious language in promoting science would be an advantage.
Thank you. Did everybody hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, but to repeat it, and I know that I heard you accurately, and I understand completely. It's religious language is dangerous, open to misinterpretation. Those who believe in God will say, see, we're being scientific. They'll do more than that. They're going to say, how dare you take our word and steal it, bastards. Okay, it's good. I mean, I'm scared publishing my book. Okay, I really thought Yahweh was going to get me the other night.
Smoke those words out.
Right, he was going to come down and get me with a thunderbolt. I was going to go hide under the bed. You may be right, of course. It's really dangerous. Okay, so let me say the parts that you said. One thing that I really disagree with. It's not that we're talking about scientific. I think if I tried to get across a scientific point tonight, it's that we have to go beyond what has been Western science. And I've been a scientist for 40 years. I'm maybe even a pretty good scientist, okay? I don't think science is going to get us to how the biosphere is going to evolve. I don't think science by itself is going to get us to values. I think we've got values because we're agents, and therefore we have moral arguments, and we have them all the time. And that's fine. Okay, I don't think that we have to be quiet because we were told to be quiet by Hume. But can I go on?
Yes.
You may be absolutely right. It may be far too dangerous to try to use any word that smacks of religion or sacred. People who don't believe in God can respond by saying, you're going to the dark side. You want to go back to the Inquisition before Galileo stood up for truth. And it's open to that danger. It really is. And people on the religious side can get angry and say, you're blaspheming. Okay? You know, how dare you reinvent the sacred? The sacred is what God says, and not what, you know, us mere mortals say. And it can be misused. I think all of that's true. And so maybe we can find other symbols of sufficient power to carry the weight that we want it to carry. I don't disagree with that at all. I just don't know any other symbols. I'm not against it at all. Okay? Right. The reason I want to do it is because I think we need symbols of that kind of power. But I'm sure aware of the dangers. So I accept your concerns completely.
Can I just make a brief comment? Yes, I think I was inappropriate for me to say that that our approach should be scientific. I think what I really meant was that we explain certain phenomena from a human standpoint, and the theists will then realize that they are wrong in certain things without accepting the word science. In other words, trying to be as neutral as possible. That that the cohesion can be on these neutral grounds, explaining a worldview.
You may be right. The thing is, to take the example that one notices in the United States about science, we all know that the majority of Americans don't believe in evolution. In 2001, you know, the 21st century, not 2001, 2008, the 21st century. I must, you know, but you know what I'm trying to say. And this comes from what we know. If you believe in a theist God who can muck around in the universe and work miracles, then you've got the problem that Dunn had of the split between reason and faith. So we want the same thing. You might be right. I do think we have to get it, you know, I think we have to get across something spiritual. I think we have to, in fact, live into mystery. I think the fact that we live into mystery when we don't know what's going on, and we do it with faith and courage, is genuinely sublime, in the Kantian sense of sublime. It's also the mandate of life. I mean, what else are we going to do? You can otherwise hide in bed. I mean, you've got to get up in the morning, put on your shoes, and go out and be sublime. Okay, so, I don't know the wisest path. I do think we should talk about all of this, okay? And I don't think, I really don't think we should talk about it in the absence of, and in a sort of, with disdain for values and spiritual values. I think that doesn't build a bridge. I think it builds a chasm. And that scares me. That scares me about the new atheists. And they're friends of mine, okay? But it is so, it is so hostile. It says so clearly, you stupid fools. Okay? Well, if you're on the other side, you don't respond too well to that, you know? So we've got to do something better. Okay, have I understood you? I think I have.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
In searching for these symbols, we're searching for a guidance that we've always looked for outside of ourselves.
Right.
Now we're left with nothing but ourselves, it seems, as a source of our own guidance, to lift ourselves with our own bootstraps. Where do our new ideas come from?
Well, what a neat accent. Is that Scots?
Scott, yeah.
God, I wish I could do a Scots accent. I could. Then I learned an Irish accent. No, I can't do a Scots accent. Can I hang out with you for a while? So I think. Look, I don't know the answer, but let me try parts of it on you. We're not alone. That is to say, if you take a humanist tradition, it's us humans, okay, dependent only on ourselves. But you know what? Us humans are also members of 3.8 billion years of life in which we've evolved, and we're the cousins of the dolphins, let alone the chimps. We really are. We're not alone. We're members of a co-evolving biosphere that we're destroying right now. How dare we? Okay. It hit me in the following kind of funny way. I live in Bragg Creek, which is outside of Calgary.